Hey everyone! Hello, hello! Welcome to a Tuesday drawing stream. Hope you all have some time to watch me work on... I guess I'm still working on the double page spread. I could always work on something new, but I figured I might as well finish this. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Yeah. And hopefully the music isn't blasting like it was last time. But yeah. Heyo, welcome. Now I can have the chat open while I'm drawing. I finally figured that out. So that's good. I can actually see what people are saying. Very useful stuff there. So here it is. We got the double page spread from last time. Haven't done any work on it since then.
Sorry to disrupt you.
Nah, no problem. And where are we going to be doing the work? Well, I guess we should start at least figuring out what the background is going to look like. And let's see, can I make it just a little bit bigger? Yeah, that's about as big as I can make it. It looks so small when I look at it on the screen over here, but that's how it's gonna be.
Oh, did you finally get it to...
Yeah, it's working. So...
Didn't change anything, it's just magic?
No, it was just a matter of, like, fiddling with the settings until it figured itself out. One of those things, you know?
Yeah.
There was, like, some tablet settings that I messed with.
I always think of, like, Fire Emblem, where with the lock picking. If you're skilled enough with lock picking, you can pick the lock without a pick. And I was always like, that doesn't make sense. But then as I got to know, like, computers and stuff, it's like, yeah, maybe you do just shake the door until it opens.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it was never locked.
I can hear that my laptop is having a fun time.
Too many dots. It's had enough.
At least the fan works, unlike my other computer. Okay. So we'll have something a little bit like this, maybe. People like mountain backgrounds, right? So we could have like some mountainy stuff over here. Ooh, so mountainy, right? Look at all these mountains. Woo! Then maybe they're like cut off by some trees or something. It kind of makes sense like this, right? Because it's like, it's kind of like an overlook where you would go see the Siddharth statue. That's what I figure anyway. If we're trying to, of course, apply logic to this. Well, it's still a little bit out in the woods, but this looks way too flat, doesn't it? Yeah, too flat. Too flat. No flat. Mountains don't look that far away either. All these issues you run into while you're drawing. Make them tiny, tiny mountains. Maybe tinier over here? Yes. Put some more trees. It looks like a special clearing. Yeah, something like that. Originally I was like, oh, maybe it should just be like hidden away out in the woods or something. There's something about this that I don't really like, though. Maybe put this higher up. Is that something? Composition is way harder than people think. I'll tell you that much. It's kind of one of those like unseen art forms too. Just got back from watching Shogun. Oh yeah. I heard that was something. Let me see. Keep in mind, of course, it's going to be like split in half like this. So I figured as a double page spread, maybe it would make sense if like it's leaning towards the center somehow. Maybe mountain like that. I don't know. I don't know, man. Art is hard. Make it easy. It's something to work with anyway. What was the original? Original was just like woods and bushes and stuff. Which is better? Do you like more mountainous background with like some trees? Or do you just trees and bushes? I guess the mountains make it a little bit more interesting. Now. Oh my god. I forgot that I had the music on. I was just hearing the most subtle sound. Freaking me out. Okay. It's just music. No need to freak out yet. Let me see. I have... Not that I would want to, like, use these brushes right now, but I wanted to look for a reference. Ah, yes. I think these are my tree brushes. Something to like draw. Oh, no. I don't know if that's the type of tree that I would... Oh. Sorry. Can I move this down more? No, I can't. Yeah, that's gross. Disgusting. This is fine. Digging that bitch up. I guess that's the type of tree that should be in the background, right? If I do it in blue. Something like that. Yes. These are totally branches, trust me, bruh. Don't worry, I'll make it look like prettier for like the official links. It's very tree. We do what we can. There we go. Thanks for the $2, Matthew. So, any thoughts on those how-to manga books? Oh man, that's a blast from the past. Well, obviously, they were trying to kind of capitalize on the fact that manga was becoming popular, and weren't super good artists out there who were trying to tell you how to draw manga. It's just the main complaint about them is the fact that they didn't really know what they were doing exactly. They were just trying to mimic an art form that they knew was becoming popular. And not a huge fan. But there are much better books for actually drawing manga nowadays that don't get nearly as much attention. And granted, I'm saying that they're better. I'm not saying that they're the best source to go to. But sometimes it's just not drawing, Mm-hmm. Love his mastering manga books. Yeah, it's only the best. You must learn from the master. To be fair, some people enjoy a much older, maybe a little bit more janky 90s style or early 2000s style of manga. Certainly want some 90s stuff. Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm not exactly... It's not always, super beautiful stuff from, 90s or anything, but... It certainly has its own aesthetic. It's interesting seeing how styles adapted over time. Stuff that was more acceptable then not being acceptable now, etc., etc. Kinda generally okay. On the one hand, you get stuff like Ghost in the Shell and Akira, but then you also get ghost stories with its specialness, quote unquote. Yeah, well, I'm one of those people that actually did not really like the Ghost Stories dub. Although I remember at the time, or maybe people still do like it, but at the time, people would often like talk about it like it was the best thing ever just because it was edgy or something. And they're like, oh my god, it's so funny. They like made it into Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series, which was also a thing at the time. Oh man, it's so cool. They did somebody else's story and then they fucking threw out the script and made fun of it the whole time. Awesome. I was told for the longest time, and I even believed it, even though I couldn't verify it was true, but I was just told it so often that I believed that it was true. Funny how that works, right? But I was constantly told that they had the approval of the mangaka when they did that Ghost Stories dub. I was constantly told that they had the approval and that even the mangaka didn't like it. Didn't like their own manga, which is crazy, but I believed it because that's what I was told. And that that he wanted the script to be replaced with an edgy script or something like that. And that they saved the anime by throwing out all the original content. Apparently that's not true. Apparently it's not even true that Ghost Stories was a failure in Japan. It's just like a rumor that they started to cover their own asses. It's like, they're the ones who told, like, the people selling them the rights that they wouldn't be able to like, sell it unless they made the changes to the script. And made it into this, like, abridged series type of thing. But people would tell me, no, the mangaka wanted that to be done. Which I always kind of had doubts. But it's like the same thing with like House Husband, right? People say, oh yeah, the mangaka wanted it to look bad in the animation. And once again, I can't really confirm whether or not that's true. But I have my doubts. Because I just have trouble believing that anyone would want their anime to look like that, or their manga series to be made fun of like that. But yeah, it's definitely a type of humor that kind of came and went. Not a whole lot of people try to do like the edgy, lol soul random type of humor. Or at least not in the same way that it used to be done. Obviously, there's reasoning because it's offensive and all that stuff. But then there's also just like people who think that who liked it when they were younger, but now they think that it's total cringe. I kind of like always thought it was a little bit cringe, but I was willing to like some things that utilized that humor. It was very dependent. part of the reason why I was able to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series when that was out. And I guess it's still getting updated to this day. But, I enjoyed it because it was, you know, parody, you know? And I feel like it was funny because you knew the source material, because you knew what they were making fun of. With Ghost Stories, I don't know what the heck the original material was. Because you expect a dub to not be an abridged version of it, you expect it to be an accurate translation of it. Which of course is not the norm these days. It seems like we don't very often get accurate translations. Not that that's a new thing. For years, you know, there have been a ton of anime dubs that don't really give you a good representation of what the original was. And don't even get me started on the 4Kids. The 4Kids. But you know, people, studios especially, they know that fans want a good translation, and they constantly sell you on the idea of we have the good translation. You have to come to us for all the good dubs, right? And then you watch it, and it's better, but it's not as good as it could be. I guess part of the reason why I'm thinking about it is because, man, I forget the guy's username now, but someone did like a video briefly like going over the discotheque thing. And I'm sure that the video has gone like semi-viral at this point. So maybe you guys have seen it, maybe you haven't. Maybe I should leave a link if I can find it again. But he was just basically talking about the history of discotheque not following the correct translation for whatever reason. Who knows? But he basically had like a lot more examples than just a lovely complex, and just showing that they had been doing it for years, and that that Jello Apocalypse was more of a fall guy. It's like the bullet that they have to take because no one's really called them out on it until he came out and started making fun of anime fans. I recently finished this one anime. I'll keep it secret which one it is, because you guys you'll want to experience this video when I come out with it. But there's this one anime that I finished up recently that has one of the worst dubs I've ever heard in my entire life. One of the worst ever, I gotta say. It's like probably up there with 4Kids One Piece, honestly. It's got all of the problems, all of them. Bad directing, localization, ad-libbing, using slang terms that do not fit whatsoever. It's just like absolutely a pain to watch, and kind of just incomprehensible because they're not properly translating things. You, as the audience, are not properly understanding what the story is, which is a problem because it has somewhat of a complicated story. They like throw in a bunch of like plot twists in at the end. And I feel like because you're watching the dub, you only really understand like a little bit of what is actually supposed to be happening, just because they're translating everything in such a dog shit way. So that's gonna make a great video. Because you guys, you have to see it to believe it. To believe how bad it is, you have to experience it for yourself. Ooh man, these trees are getting lopsided. Look at that. I made a super wavy tree. Are wavy trees okay? I should probably be. Although it does look quite funky. Yeah. But you don't have to worry about them dubbing a horrible rap theme song. They kept the theme song the same. It was just like when the characters actually spoke, it was fucking awful. That looks better, I think. I assume that looks better. Some of these ends of the trees, the trunks and stuff, I'll probably have completely hidden with like grass or something. But it's good just to get a general shape of what's going on down there. With the roots and whatnot. You know. I hate drawing branches. I mean, it's somewhat relaxing because it's just like kind of routine. I'm not the best at drawing nature, obviously, but it's something that you have a little bit more leeway with than you would have with drawing, say, architecture. Because if you mess up a building, the people in the building would probably die. But nature's a little bit more random. Don't have to worry about this shitty tree branch like killing anybody. However, I must admit to you guys, I kinda don't want to draw all the leaves. I think I might want to use a brush for the leaves, if that is okay with you. 12-hour leaf painting stream win? Never! I mean, I could use like some sort of like subtle outline for the leaves and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. Just kind of don't feel like it. And isn't that the best reason to not do something? Alrighty. You know, I use this, like, brush to, like, get a general idea of, like, the trees and whatnot. I don't even think I'll trace over them. I don't think I'll even bother, like, doing the shadows. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do with the blacks, really. I mean, I'll have them there for reference, I suppose, but I don't know, man. Excuse me, Ichabod. Just gotta draw a tree trunk near your face. Actually, let's make it go this direction. This direction's better. Oh yeah, I saw a trailer for the Dannphan anime. It looks like it's gonna be a 3D anime? Did I saw that correctly? It's gonna be 3D animation? Not a huge fan, but whatever. It looked 3D anyway. Certainly looked like better 3D than X-Arm, but you know. Generally not a huge fan of it. I've always really liked what 2D animation does. It's something that I can't quite duplicate. And I've never seen anyone else duplicate in 3D. Looked like traditional animation to me. Okay. Granted, it was just like a few clips that they showed. So maybe I just noticed more 3D, like in the action shot or action pieces that they were showing off. Funny, at one point we were watching this like orchestra anime, which I know that's it's a weird thing to be watching as far as all the other anime goes, but we watched all of Nodame, all of it, all 3 series or seasons, I guess is what they are. And that, in that anime, every single time they were playing the instruments, it would just cut to 3D. And I think the reason why is because they were mocapping actual people playing the instruments, which is actually kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting because, like, sometimes in a lot of those musical animes, yeah, I know, I say it with an S, so I'm so bad. In a lot of those musical anime, they have the character playing, but they're not actually playing in the animation, you know? They're like playing some other fucking song, or they just have some super generic playing the same notes over and over again. It's like typing. Have you ever looked at anime characters and what letters they are actually typing? It's a very different sentence. They're just like smashing on the keyboard. But it's like that, yeah. So I like the idea of these anime that focus on selling music and, you know, sponsored by Sony or whatever, for them to actually have it accurate to what the character is playing. Especially if the character is messing up during playing. It's nice to see, like, what notes they're actually messing up. See what notes they're playing by mistake and stuff like that. It feels like you're more in the moment. Feels like the character who is playing the instrument can actually play the instrument. You know? Hey, these trees are looking pretty okay-ish. Think I had that on the list. Oh, you mean Nodame? Nodame's okay. To be brutally honest, it's like super boring. it's a super slog of an anime, but it's not bad. Not by any means. Ichabod isn't generic enough to be a classic cringe cookie cutter anime protag. Good job. Thank you. That's a nice compliment to get. I do worry a little bit about me doing a series in which the character is a little bit edgy. or a little bit of a mopey moperson, I guess. It's another way to put it. Because I worry some people will just see it as, like, my Sasuke fanfiction or some shit like that. Even though I was never one of those Sasuke fangirls. Proud to say I was never one of those Sasuke fangirls who wanted Sasuke and Naruto to fuck. Not one of those girls. But I could understand from an outside point of view of somebody thinking that I would be a fucking weirdo or just like a cringe fanfiction.net writer when I show them my dark fantasy and I am a girl. I guess, yeah, guys write cringe dark fantasy stuff too, but you know what I mean, where it's like, here's my dark fantasy. And trust me, it was not ripped off of some fanfiction.net thing. Please do trust me. Baits you with being kind of nihilistic story about assassins and is actually very much wholesome. Yeah, kinda. I mean, it's like, it's a mix-mash of things. There's a lot of feelings going into this series. Some towns are going to be like better put together than others. Like where Ichabod is, it's not even like he grew up in the worst place. He grew up in a functioning town of what's left of somewhere that's not currently being governed. And crime is amuck, but we managed to get him into like a town that's still up and running and survives because everyone in the town cares about each other and protects each other, you know? Because it's hard for me, personally anyway, to imagine that everywhere would just go to hell immediately. Like, people would be standing up for each other, and there would be places where it would still be nice, even if there's no force putting together, no force putting evildoers in jail, per se. There's still, like, nice people in the area, and those people would have to protect each other and be there for each other, especially when they need one another. So Shadwith is a nice place like that, where once Ichabod's own home was, like, destroyed, he was able to find comfort in this new place. Alright. Let's do this tiny tree. And then we can... Nice. Sorry. I know I'm not trying to zoom in and out nearly as much as I'm doing. It's just that the wheel is just a tad sensitive. So it clicks even when I'm not trying to make it. Yeah. And of course, as the real journey begins, as he leaves, not spoiling too much here, but as he leaves Shadwith to go on his adventure, ultimately he's gonna be coming across other towns and areas that are being governed, that are, like, nicer, and have other nice people there. So it's not like, even though it's a dark fantasy, I don't want it to feel like it's unrealistically just an evil universe, you know? Like, there's a reason why bad shit happened to Ichabod, but that doesn't mean that, like, the whole world is bad. That goes for real life, too, you mopers. But, yeah. If you stick around, you'll see a lot of fun, different places in this little world that I created. And we're not completely chucking out horror from the genre either. There will be other scary monsters as well. It's just that I want to make it a good balance. So it feels a little bit shonen-y. It feels a little bit horror-y. It's gonna be great. I want scary monsters, yes. Are the trees on the same layer? Look, buddy. I draw like an absolute mad lad. Yes, the trees are on the same layer. But don't worry, it is fine. I sort of know what I'm doing. Refreshing to see a dark fantasy stories that not thinks that tons of rhymes with grape equals dark. Oh yeah. Yeah, it feels like that's part of the reason why so many people cringe when they hear an indie writer's doing a dark fantasy. It's because that's immediately what they think about. They're thinking that it's going to be like some cringe nihilistic, everyone's just getting graped. And you know, I'm gonna go a little bit more more realistic than that. Funny to say when we're writing fantasy, but yeah, I'm gonna make it a little bit more realistic. Nobody's gonna just get graped just because. Whoopsie-doo. I just fell and my pee-pee was in her. Admittedly, I'm still using my laptop to do these, to do like the Control Z. I don't have to, but it's just habit, I suppose. I didn't finish up a video for tomorrow, so I'll either maybe, I don't know, not do one or do one in the morning. I have stuff to do for videos, and I have like things to finish for videos. It's just like difficult finding time to record and stuff, and also making sure that we're doing work on Reaper. Gotta finish up this book series after all. Alright. I think that's enough trees. Maybe for like any other trees I put in the background and there'll be like silhouettes, stuff like that. But I think this is an understandable amount of trees. Teenage cringe lost forever when a hard drive died. Well, not all. Alright. Maybe some like tall grass in the back. What feel you to that tall grass? Turn that way down. Maybe I'll pop out like a brush for bushes as well. Do a brush. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. Let me get rid of those grass lines. Gotta be going up higher, because it's all getting uphill over here. I have a grass brush too, but I don't know, man. Sometimes grass brushes look weird. I want it to look good. Call me crazy. But I want my drawings to look good. Anyone else feel that way sometimes? Yeah, I don't know. Guess I'm alone. Dear Dannphan, your comics are fun, your characters very expressive, your timing for punchlines is great, but your lines are too thin for print. A lot of details were lost in Horizon Quest. Oh yeah. That was my first time experiencing a lot of the details being lost in print. But I didn't go that thin for the lines, to be fair. I'm not really 100% sure why the detail, why the minuscule detail was lost. Is this okay? I know, that's gonna be like my catchphrase at some point. Just like constantly asking, is this fine? It's kind of glowing like all the way up. It's probably fine. .350 DPI looks fine on my end. Yeah, a lot of the grays also did not show up very well in Horizon Quest when it printed. So I don't think it was because the lines were too thin. I think it might just have been the printing itself. Like the grays were not coming up that well, because some of you might not even really notice, but this has like a softening effect around the line itself. So if the line is thin, it'll look more gray than it will black. And I think the gray was just not coming out on the pages that well. For whatever reason, whatever settings I chose for the print, or I don't know. But I think that was the problem, and that was the reason why some of the details don't come out on the Horizon Quest print, unfortunately. Alright. I'm kind of feeling it for this background now. Mountain. What do I want to do with this mountain? Huh? Looks very generic mountain, doesn't it? Maybe I should just have it like explosion in the middle, right? And it's just fucking, fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know. It kind of looks like a mouth. First, I was kind of thinking like a grinchy, you know, but then it just turned into a. Thanks for the $5, Maverick. Says, any plans for another comic of the G-rated child-murdering robot Ellie the Eliminator? Not as of now. You know, it's kind of demoralizing in general that I lost the files for that comic. For the first 3 issues, which I published as like a trade paperback. That's a bad line. There's a no-touch line. There we go. And just like, just the fact that it's a bit demoralizing in of itself kind of makes me feel like, whatever. Never again. Mountains feel better with a peak. It's just kind of how it is, you know? No flat. Flat sucks. Yeah. Alright. It's not perfect, but it's something. We're getting something working. See what I mean about, like, the randomness of nature? All I have to do is squiggle. Just squiggle lines. And they're mountains. Yay. Actually, this one's gonna be further back. There we go. There we go. Alright. And you know, another thing about Ellie is, it wasn't that popular. I mean, it was, like, popular amongst the people that I got to read it, but not a lot of people were all too interested in it. Hard thing to admit, of course, but, you know. So in all likeliness, those 3 issues are probably all that's going to end up existing for Ellie. Poor thing. But, it's alright. It was fun while it existed. Yeah. What tablet are you using? We're using the newest and greatest XP pen. Yes, the Wacom tablet is locked away. Alrighty, we got some mountains. Not like the prettiest mountains in the world, but they exist. Honestly, I'm not liking this slant that we got going on. I think I'm gonna be drawing this grass up higher. I like the Ellie videos you uploaded. Reminds me of the cartoons from 2000s. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was, like, most inspired by, you know? That's what I grew up watching. Yeah, okay. That's I like this a little bit. We have this set up. So, there's a couple things I can work on right now. I can detail the trees. I can detail the ground. I can detail these vines. It's mostly detailing. Eventually I'll have to put in, like, the dark actual blacks to everything. You know, because, like, you know, this is supposed to be black, this is supposed to be black, etc., etc. This is actually supposed to be like that, I believe. That's better. No, that's too close. This hand is too close to the boot. Look at that. Awful. Disgusting. I'm gonna have to move it. Be very, very careful. It's like surgery, you know? That's better. Okay. It's just when lines are a little bit too close together, they don't look as nice. Especially because they're both his gloves and the boots are going to be black. It's just going to look muddy the closer it is together. But So, are we doing trees or are we doing grass or are we doing mountains? I'm not gonna do those mountains. Fuck those mountains. Those mountains come last. Oh, gee. These mountains could just be like black, I guess. Could just be all silhouettes, really. You want a strong silhouette for good composition. Yes, indeed. That's how we do it. You know what? I'll do the grass first. Because it's gonna be getting in the way of the trees and stuff too. Or actually... Leaves. I was supposed to figure out these, right? I can do bushes? Do these look bushy enough? Yeah, those look bushy enough. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I hear you judging me. Oh, she's using a brush. Do what I gotta do. I'll make them look prettier, of course, in like final, but you get it. I like to just have a little bit of a map to work with. Just a little bit. I guess it makes sense for me to be talking more about Reaper to help promote it. By the way, link in the description. If you haven't already backed the campaign, please do. Or at the very least, you know, consider it. It's funny doing that, I did the video clip from one of my live streams talking about how, like, Indiegogo isn't even showing the campaign. Such a pain in the ass, right? And then, like, one of the comments on that video is just, I didn't even know you were doing a campaign. I was like, of course you didn't. Alright, let's... Too close. Too close. Get away. Do you talk to yourself when you draw? Just curious. Well, I'm talking to chat. It's different. Normally, I'm just like blasting some metal or something. I'm into that, like, medieval style metal, right? Right? Power metal, good stuff, good stuff. Christian metal, underrated. You see, now I add, like, the illusion of depth to these bushes by, like, adding in the same technique of shading. Even with the bush brush, I'm still adding in my love. my love and my carefulness, even to this shitty bush that doesn't deserve it. It's just how nice I am. Please don't take that out of context. Alright, there we go. You'll get mad at me if I back a second time. You already got the best perk. I kind of knew immediately too, as I was like putting together the original art. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna immediately be the one to like get this. It's kind of delightful hearing that like other people were disappointed that it was already taken though. It's like, oh, people actually want art from me? That's so nice. Aw. My art style is desirable to some? That's amazing. Because, you know, obviously I'm not really at the level that I want to be yet when it comes to my art. So, I appreciate it when people at least recognize that I'm getting a little bit better, because it gives me a little bit hope for the future, that I will be at the exact level that I'm trying to be. Thanks for the $5, Maverick. Christian metal recommendation. Beautiful by Striper. Could also pass for a secular one. More explicit. Striper's goddamn evil. Hell yeah, man. It's a little bit of a more obscure one, but I really enjoy Holy Grail, which sadly is not together anymore. They split up. The singer ended up going with starting this other band called Entranced, but it's not super good. Not that it's bad, it's not bad. It's just not as good as Holy Grail, you know? Just not the same. And of course, I guess the one people normally point out when they're talking Christian metal is Powerwolf. Powerwolf, fun fact, not actually Christian. They just think that it's cool. They just think that the themes in Christianity and the demons and the angels and werewolves and vampires stuff, they think that stuff is cool. Hence why they identify as werewolves, but also priests. Oh, but their music is sick. Their music is awesome. Gave a little man waving. Adam has quite the story for later tonight on Dannphan. I'll let him tell that story though, because I'm sure that he very much wants to tell it himself. It's something that happened recently. Fun stuff. Anyone interested in seeing, or well, quote unquote, seeing the eclipse that's going to be happening? Obviously, you know, don't look at it directly, but experiencing the eclipse, I guess maybe is a better term to describe what is actually going to be happening. Alrighty. Bought eclipse glasses for my parents and me to view it. Nice. We have the eclipse goggle stuff as well. We were going to go on a bit of a road trip with friends. Yee! Should be fun. Alright, it's looking kind of okay-ish. Trees, of course, looking very bare, but what do you expect, you know? Alrighty. Grass, grass, grass. Now I'm kind of wishing that I decided to do a grass brush. I'm gonna do something in front of the bushes later, but, you know, because this section is looking all weird. I'll add some, like, grass in the forefront in front of it, but for now, just doing regular grass strokes best I can. I know, boring. Already getting sick of doing this grass, my god. What was I thinking? Shit sucks, man. Alright. New plan. What's this? Okay, that's that. I don't like that. Yeah. Let's, not do that. Might as well, actually fill in the black for Ichabod. Funny enough, I find this less boring than doing the grass over and over again. So we're gonna do this right now. Come on. Alright. Can't. You know, admittedly, I've never really watched MTV when it was actually music TV. Mostly because we didn't have cable for the longest time. And then when we finally did get cable, it was like already changed to the new MTV, which was very, very different material. Alright. Just filling in a lot of these white spots that the bucket didn't catch. There's a way to like raise up the sensitivity on the paint bucket tool and stuff like that, but sometimes it creates more problems than it solves, so kinda prefer doing it this way most of the time. Get these stupid lines out of my face. Right, did I get everything? I think I did. Now we're just gonna change. Oops, thought I was hitting shift, my bad. Just gonna change what some of these lines look like. Ah, this is all messed up. Now I see it. I should have got that before. Maybe? Yeah, let me fix some of this up. Alrighty. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Now, let's do a little bit of shine on the hair. Doesn't look so flat. Okay. Put on his, I guess that's it. His pattern that he has. Yes, it's a brush. I only like ever actually scribble in the pattern when he's like far away, or obviously when I'm drawing him not digitally. It's a pretty basic pattern. It's just, you know, save time. Don't draw the individual details all the time. Especially when I still have so many pages left to do, you know? There. Ah, forgot this one. Nice. So, pops out a little bit more. And, like I was saying before, we could have some, like, super dark shadows on the trees. We could have the mountains in the back be just silhouette. I'm not quite sure, even, what would look the best. Vote in chat today. Alright, do I go back to doing the grass or do I start on the trees? Guess I'll keep doing grass. You add things like mud puddles and objects in the grass? Yes, although it will mostly be grass, as that is the majority of what's going to be around here, you know? Part of the reason why I just don't have much fun doing grass is because even though it's like kind of that same feeling of, oh, well, it's so peaceful, you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Even though it always feels bad. Like just doing this all over and over again. Just like, it's not pleasing to look at. At least not until like it's all done, at the very least. So you don't really see the good side of all the labor until like the end. And until then you're just like, ugh, everything I draw looks like shit. And then you're also just doing the same basic patterns over and over again. It's not the same as when you're like doing the same basic patterns on trees, because the tree patterns, it kind of has like a charm about them, while this grass is a little bit more liney. Boring. Guess I could just do the trees. Save the grass for last. Do another rock. Oh, that's what's missing? Mushrooms? I can add some mushrooms in. See. Ooh. Is that too dark? Maybe a little bit, but it's fine. There's one mushroom. There's a two mushroom. Alrighty. It's a little bit more variety. This is a tangent, so kill me, but... Oops. Cool. Yeah. Some days you can't win. Alright. Let's see, what are we at? An hour 30 minutes? Not bad, not bad. We'll go on for a little bit longer. I was wondering if I should add, like, tones to this. You know, like screen tones. I'm still kind of undecided, though. Not that I think it would ruin it exactly, but I don't know. Sometimes it looks better without the screen tones. Ugh. Ow. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. No, no, no. Okay, got a little bit of something going on here. Closer to the castle he gets, the more rotten things become. Hell yeah, man. I like the way you think. It is quite a spooky, dooky castle. Alrighty, how's that? It's coming together. It's like a bit of a pain to do like the extra details on the nature stuff, you know? Cause you had a couple wildflowers. I was gonna actually just add those in as I was doing the grass, or like after-ish. Cause you know, you add like the like flowered tops. I mean, that looks shitty, but just to give you an example, the flowered tops as you already have, basically the grass doubles as a stem, right? And then you just sprinkle in some tops all over the place. David, not to nitpick, I live in a forest, but grass doesn't grow at the bottom of any of our trees. It's mostly moss or mushrooms. What do you want me to do? Delete all the grass? No, I mean, like, I used to live up the mountains, and there's definitely sometimes tall grass near the trees. Maybe it depends, like, what kind of tree, I don't know. I'm not a nature expert, dude. I'm just doing what looks good. I like the way it looks. You're just like rubbing in my face. You live near the woods. I wish I was back at the woods. One day, move out of where I am now. Go back to my happy place, away from cities and all that stuff. Alright, get some shadows on the edge here. Nice, nice, nice. 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 Alright. It's looking like a picture. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are achieving art. If you can call it that. It's funny how this grass ended up looking much more detailed than this grass in the forefront. Well, that's because I drew this last time when I was like not really feeling it. And all this is just like in the background, so it doesn't have to be as detailed. It just kind of has to be more so adding in shadow scribbles and all that stuff. Alrighty. I have some flower brushes too, but I don't really like any of them. So I'll probably just like draw in the flowers or the weeds or whatever's instead of using an I wonder if I should be drawing like very specific type of flowers for the area. You also want to point out the lack of mud on his boots. His pitch black boots? Yeah. I mean, I can add some mud effect on there. No, don't start down that road, then you will have to add water to all his clothing. No, I don't. I mean, like, the ground can be wet without your entire body being wet. Sometimes, it just rained, you go outside and your boots are wet. Because you're sloshing around in mud and puddles and whatnots. Admittedly, I can feel myself getting a little bit lazier with this grass, but it's probably fine. Yeah, I mean, you zoom out, and so long as the shading is coming through, it doesn't look that bad. But while you're drawing the grass, it just feels like lines, You draw like a person painting on a canvas. Well, I don't know. I'm putting a lot more thought into this one because it's the nice double page spread in between the chapter, And when I go to like a nice panel, I'll put more thought into it. But chances are, there will be nowhere else in the book where I draw every blade of grass like this. Just, letting you know ahead of time. Picture has turned out very nice so far. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. It's nice just to be getting somewhere. You know what? There's a time-lapse option on Clip Studio, I'm kind of wondering if I should have done that. Instead of just doing the live stream. Because a lot of people probably aren't gonna tune in to listen to the full live stream. But they might have been interested in seeing, like, the speed draw. Maybe next time, huh? Alright, well, I guess I don't have too many areas to add in grass. So I could just... Although, like, the whole back area still needs, like, shading done to it, and then this front area needs shading done to it. You could always download the VOD and speed it up. That would take forever, though. That'd be quite a while to export that video and everything. You know what also makes me an absolute mad lad? I don't name my layers. I know I should. I'm sorry. I may be a little bit dumb. Okay. So there's our option for covering up the bushes. Okay. So yes, I will obviously, like, delete this part underneath later, but it gives you, like, that effect of, you know, being grass in the forefront of the bush, so that it's not, like, just floating there. Make it more so a part of the picture. You guys learning some sick drawing techniques from me? Me and my janky ass way of drawing. We'll probably, like, go back and be, like, adding little fucking flowers and shit. But for now, just worry about one thing at a time, you know? make this extra dark, huh? Let's just not worry about the details in this section. It's just extra shadowy over here. Yes. How about that? Guess the grass should be kind of interacting with these vines. I know. We'll add a little. So it looks like it's kind of bending around. And then we just add some shadow. And then we just pretend that it looks good and not worry about it for now. Yes, I know it doesn't look good. It's alright. We'll fix it later. We'll just forget about that. Alright. David asking, if you could time-lapse, what soundtrack would you give it for YouTube? I feel like that's almost a trick question. Because you know, any soundtrack, if I could give it any soundtrack, it would most certainly be copyright struck. If we're talking about like copyright-free music that I would actually give it, it's kind of different to asking what song if you could just use any song, you know? But I don't know, maybe some like nice, peaceful, medieval, tavern-y, bardcore music would be nice with this. Because it's kind of a peaceful scene, you know? It's a little bit melancholic, but peaceful. A little peaceful, melancholic stuff. I have like kind of a bardcore-y, well, it is like a bardcore medieval style song that I wrote for Reaper. I was trying to get someone to sing it for me so I could upload a video with it. I was hoping that that would be done by now, but because of reasons, it is not. So maybe sometime soon. Hopefully not after the campaign is done. Or I don't know. If it gets finished after the campaign is done, I can always like put it up on YouTube during the website release. Because that will also require some like promotion, you know? So it shouldn't be like the worst thing in the world if it doesn't get done on time. But obviously, I'd prefer it to be done now. As I imagine most people would prefer it to be done now. Copyright free? Well, I guess if it was my song, I would own the copyright. And it's kind of similar. I'll have to let you guys know when that song is ready. Although, like, if you're anticipating the song to come out, it's probably going to be less cool than if I just had it out. Because now you're like, oh, there's the song that Dannphan talked about. It sucks. It's a garbo. I thought it was going to be much better than this, but it was about not better than this. It's roughly like 2%, not as good as I thought it would be. Yeah, it seems like everyone these days is a little bit busy. For some reason, this just ended up being a really busy month for a lot of people. Like, even just getting done these chapter illustrations, right? Obviously I'm doing this one, but other people I've hired, or some people offered to just do them, right? And those people are also, I imagine, quite busy this month. So I was expecting some of them to say no. And someone did end up backing out for doing a chapter illustration. They were like super first, and then ended up being like, sorry, I got like a bunch of cons to go to, and just not gonna have enough time to do the commission. It's like, alright. Understood. I get it. But, yeah. Just kind of ended up being a super busy month. I don't like the way this is leaning. Part of doing art is fiddling with things like a million times until it looks mildly acceptable. Oh yeah, the section of grass you're working on near the tree looks really, really good in my opinion. Spending the extra time is always worth it. Oh yeah. Well, like even stuff like this grass, even though it's like not like I'm spending a super amount of time with the detail per se. Like you do almost every blade of the grass, but it's not super detailed blades of grass. For the most part, they're just like blah, 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 right? The thing that I think makes it extra pop out and has your brain recognize these lines as being grass more than anything is actually the shadows and the way that it's moving. Because you kind of have this feeling that it's like swaying with the wind because it's flowing like this. Once again, part of the beauty of the randomness of nature. Shadows really help it pop. Like, you compare, like, the grass where I did like the more detailed shadows compared to like this in the forefront where I just like drew it kind of quickly. Didn't really bother with it too much. There's like a night and day difference between background grass and foreground grass. I feel bad though. We're like 2 hours in. Has 90% of this stream just been grass? It's probably not very entertaining. I mean, I guess I drew the trees and like the outline of the mountains in the background, but damn. It's probably too much time to be spending on grass. You're working too hard. Well, I just mean for the sake of the stream. It's like when you it's like when I'm playing Elden Ring and I'm like, I want to level up a little bit before I do this boss or whatever. I'd rather level up like off screen so that I don't bore you by doing the same repetitive stuff over and over again. That's how I feel about this grass. I feel like I'm boring you by doing the same repetitive stuff over and over again. I feel like this is only getting more detailed as I go into the background grass. I should just do the foreground and then use a brush. Yeah, right? I should have just started with a brush. Now it's too late though. Now it's a little bit too late. Let's do this foreground grass so that it's not looking like shit compared to the rest of it. All I really have to do is like add in some shadows and stuff. Just so you can see where a blade of grass ends and another is beginning. And then, I don't know, I could start on the trees just so you can see how I'll be doing those. If you are curious at all. Although that's probably a little bit boring too. All the boring nature stuff. But I mean, the first stream that I did doing this, I did like all the more interesting stuff, which is like the characters in the scene. Saved the background stuff for now. Whew. Yep, starting to feel it. Definitely starting to feel it in my soul. Watching the grass draw is very satisfying because it looks like a massive pain, but I don't have to do it. Well, that's one way of viewing things. You've given me the inspiration to keep going, Adam. Thank you. See? Doesn't that look much better when you add the shadows and stuff to it? It's not that hard doing the draw stuff. I can do the draw. It's just like getting up to that point that's the big pain. Just like imagining what the thumbnail looks like. You're just like super zoomed in on all of these like lines. Someone like looks at it like, who the fuck is Dannphan drawing? What's wrong with her? That's not art. Those are scribbles. Dumb bitch. We should kill her. It just escalates. Oh, jeez. If you need to take a short break and just want to chat for a while, that's okay. Don't get carpal tunnel. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess that is the thing that, like, causes some pain, is doing the same motion over and over again. But now that I've been complimented, now I kind of want to keep doing it, even when it hurts. Death by drawing grass. It's not that bad. It's mostly the muscle of doing this over and over again that's like strained. I was doing like, I got finished like maybe half a page. Okay. I could have finished the whole page, but you know, I knew that I had to prepare for the drawing stream, and the last panel was going to be like a more detailed one, so it makes sense to just like hold off until later. Allow yourself more time to make it look really good. You never want to rush the extra detailed panels, especially when there are few in between. But I have just, including that page, I have like 3.5, I suppose, pages left till I can do the next update on Subscribestar. For those of you who are keeping up with all the newest and greatest updates on Reaper, you get updated immediately before everybody else. You get to read it as it's being made. Exciting stuff, right? So then I can add to the update with the next couple pages. Whew, boy, is that gonna end on quite a cliffhanger. Those people who see the next update, they're gonna be like, holy shit, what have you done? And I'm gonna be like, heh. Oopsie. Never want to do that. Thank you for adding a death button right next to my Control Z. At least it asks me. It was a positive. I wear a wrist compression cuff while drawing. For me, it really relieves strain long term. Yeah, I mean, part of it is also like, I guess, how you're positioned and stuff. I had a glove. I didn't really like using it or anything, but it was a glove that I basically just wore when I wasn't drawing, but was in pain. Funny enough. I haven't really suffered from many of those pains lately, though. Maybe it's because I just got better at taking breaks, or maybe the position that I'm in when I'm drawing just got better in general. I started figuring stuff out. I don't know. But I don't normally have issues with it anymore. Eh? Not too shabby, right? Shadows, man. They fucking rock. No need to add in, like, actual details when you can just add in the illusion of details. It's part of the reason why I started doing, well, more specifically, like, this type of shading. Do you know what I'm referring to? This type of shading? Like this? It's because it gives, like, an extra illusion of detail. And I guess, like, screen tones kind of have a similar effect in that way. Because there's itty-bitty tiny details in there. But you don't have to do, like... It's not like you're drawing every individual piece of lint or anything like that. But it kind of tricks your eye into believing that there's a lot more detail within those lines than there actually is. And it's like a similar idea with these shadows that I'm doing on the grass blades. It's like making you think that there is more detail within these lines than there actually is. I'm not good at explaining things. All I can tell you is, I think this looks better than it did before, okay? It's my attempt at explaining why I think it looks better. I had like on YouTube, I watched this guy who explained it much better than I. I'm not a words person. That's why I'm a comic artist. Alright, we're almost done. At least with this. Once again, if this is the thumbnail to the stream, people are gonna look at me like I'm freaking crazy. Dannphan, that's a bunch of scribbles. This is not art. I know, okay? Relax. You gotta zoom out. You gotta zoom out to see the art. Alright. So, there's that, the grass up there. Obviously, there's still more work to be done. But, you know. Ugh. Looks like hair that's zoomed in. Yeah. Hair and grass is very, very similar as far as drawing techniques go. Because they both have, like, the shine and, you know, the shadows and whatnot. I don't think I did as good of a job blending in the grass by the bushes, but we can always touch that up later. And I don't know, do I bother like starting on the trees, or do we just save that for next stream? What do you think, guys? Sorry. Starting on trees? Saving it for next time? What do you think? Yes? No? Yeah? No? I would be okay with saving it for another time. Start on the trees? I won't be able to finish them, because I don't want to stream for that long. Like, I can go to like 8:30, And right now it's 8:17. Well, not really. The clock on my laptop is like 4 minutes ahead, but you know what I mean. It's like 8:10 or something. Save the trees for later. You also have to stream later, so yeah. Well, I'll be streaming on Dannphan. They could use a lot of detail. Oh yeah, of course they could. Well, I didn't even finish the grass. There's still like all these areas that need grass needs shadow in the back. Some kind of shadow, because right now it looks like garbo in the back. And then there's like this whole section over here that's just blank, you know? And the mountains. What am I doing with the mountains? Am I putting them in black? I could do like some hatching trick on them. Do some crazy hatching, right? I wouldn't be able to get across that much detail on them. But, I could do my best. Snowy Hill Mountains, yeah. I could also make the sky dark. Do we want to go like moonlight? Or are we going daytime? Daytime or moonlight? What are we doing? Ooh. Daytime probably makes more sense, but no. Stop now, I want to hear Adam's stories. Moonlight? Well, the only real difference is if this sky in the background is going to be like pitch black or if there's going to be happy dappy clouds. Like, ooh, clouds. Ooh, look at all the clouds. Or is it going to be like stars? Look at all these stars. Yes. Only, you know, it'll look better than that. Oh, it's the undo button on the tablet. Doesn't have nearly as satisfying of a click as the wheel has, but it works. That's the important thing. God, I love having hotkeys on a tablet. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Don't even know why a tablet with a screen on it would not have hotkeys. Seems kind of dumb to me. What about a sunset right in the middle? The thing is, as you may or may not be able to tell, the lighting that I did is going like this direction. As you can see it a little bit more clear on like the Siddharth statue, is that the light is going this way. So the sun or the moon is like over there. It's a little bit more obscure on Ichabod, but roughly that's what we're working with. If it's sunset, it might be a little bit more complicated. Morning. It's dark fantasy, right? Everything should be dark. Hell yeah. Creepy crescent moon. Make it super edgy. Do like the what is the like super creepy laughing moon from like Soul Eater or something. Everything must be black. Pitch black. I mean, I could give you like a general idea. Yes, it's all black. Black as night. Obviously, it wouldn't exactly look like this because the trees would still be visible, but you get the idea. It would be like something like that in the back. With like stars, right? Boop, 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 boop. That's what it would look like. Yeah. Canon. That's what it would look like. Only, you know, less stupid. I want to see the sun blotted out of the sky. Alright, you got it. Alright, well, I think we'll end it here. But we did get done a good bit of progress. We actually decided what we were doing for the background, which is kind of like the same as the original sketch, but just a little bit more interesting with those mountains, right? Which really does make a difference sometimes. And as we figure out what we're doing with the sky, that's also going to be helping the art piece to look more interesting, of course. Hey, man carry. Thanks for the $2. Says hashtag keep fighting. You got it. Who should I punch in the face? Can you do a texture fill for this guy? I can. I can certainly do that. Ugh. There's the Clip Studio assets for a night sky. If I wanted to do that, obviously we have all these clouds, right? And then there's starry sky, right? Pretty gay. Haha. Then you just like add the tone to make it a little bit, you know, to give you a general idea. That's a lot of fucking stars, though. I always feel weird about using that Starry Night asset because it's just a stupid amount of stars in the sky. But you know. Yeah. So I guess next time we finish up the grass, perhaps? Or we'll start on the trees. Because I think you've probably had enough of watching me shade in this grass. Start on the trees. And then we'll finish the grass next time. Exciting stuff. And if we have time, perhaps we will figure out what we want to do with the sky. If we're adding in clouds or whatever's. In general, the trees, I'll probably be using some sort of brush for the leaves. 'Cause I'm not super feeling it with drawing every single individual leaf like I did with the grass. So it'll look like kind of similar to the bushes, I suppose. I have another leaf brush that's different from what I used on the bushes. That looks pretty good. This, yes. So I have this brush, right? This brush looks fine. In fact, I would even say that it looks fantastic. It's a fantastic, nice brush. The issue is, it's like slightly transparent. As you can see, like it changes transparency based on like, I don't know, the stroke or something. Because it's more so meant to be blended, like it's in color. But of course that's not how I want to use it. I guess I can fiddle with the settings to change that. And maybe those could be, you know, on the trees. Something to think about, yeah. But yeah, well, that'll do for now. I know, I have so many brushes. They certainly do help me get stuff done quicker, especially when I'm drawing pages. But of course I do want this to look especially spectacular. So we'll try not to use brushes for everything, of course. We gotta make it look like it still has love put into it. and a lot of thought put into it. Otherwise, you know, why not just have everything always be a brush all the time? It's like webtoons. They really rely a lot on assets. They just drag and drop a background, drag and drop, you know, people, brush in plants and everything, and it makes everything look so samey. It makes everything look really stagnant, not fun, not interesting. Because you can tell it's just like a bunch of assets. There's not any thought or love put into it. Just drag and drop. We're not trying to do that here. We're trying to make sure that everything looks nice, looks interesting, hopefully comes out nice on the page. Because I do think the issue with the Horizon Quest print is just that the grays, the really light grays, were not turning out as well. But I don't think it was an issue with the thin lines. And if it is an issue with the grays itself, that will, in theory, be fixed with Reaper because we're not using pure grays. We're using screen tones. So it's going to be more pure black, pure white, rather than anything in between. So, yeah, hopefully the issues with the Horizon Quest print will not be a problem here. That is the thought, anyway. We'll see how it turns out. I'm going to probably do a proof copy before officially approving it for the printing, just to make sure that it visually looks good on the page. Because, you know, obviously, this is a big project for me, and it really matters if it looks good. So, we'll make sure everything looks a-okay before it officially gets into your hands. I didn't think the Horizon Quest printing looked that bad, you know, obviously. Because I still sent it out, you know, so I don't think that it looks so bad that it ruins it or anything. But you can, if you compare it to the PDF, you can see visually that the printed copies look a little bit washed out. You know? I don't know what exactly causes that to happen. I just assume that it's because maybe they ran out of, or maybe they just couldn't print that light of a gray color. Because the darker grays look fine. It's just everything is like a touch lighter. But yeah. So thank you for joining me on another Drawing with Dannphan. We'll most likely be doing a Game Fan stream later tonight. If you do want to check that out, typically we start the Game Fan stream at 10 p.m. That is Eastern Standard, of course. And yeah, what are we gonna be playing tonight? Maybe some more Daggerfall as Ichabod, of course. But yeah, good times, fun times. I've been trying to get people, well, I've been trying to get one guy in particular scheduled for Comic Talk Tuesday, and you know, just mate with each other very well. So until then, you can expect more Drawing with Dan. And yeah, figure out what I'm doing for this eclipse thing, and then I'll start scheduling out some more friendly faces to join me for more Tuesday talks, and maybe we'll have drawing streams or drawing competitions. Ooh, fun stuff. We'll do more scribble. We did one scribble stream, and it was quite fun. Get another one of those going. I like how the game streams are low-key the Reaper pilots. Yes, yes, that is one way to view them. The prologue, yes. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for hopping on stream, thanks for hanging out, helping me put together what will soon, someday, be a masterpiece, this double-page spread. Maybe see you on the Dannphan stream. Yeah. Bye.